In today's video, we're going to be using HTML and CSS to create this simple Ed Sheeran web page. As you can see here, you've got a nice big colourful title at the top, a little bit of info about him, and a picture with a border around the outside of it. Looking down a little bit lower, we've got some bullet points. We've got numbered bullet points here and just general bullet points down below that, and we've also got a hyperlink in the bottom left corner. There's quite a few different techniques you're going to learn today to create this page. Okay, so let's get started by heading over to our accounts. Now in our accounts, in your Year 10 ICP folder, you should have this Ed Sheeran folder. Inside of that, you're going to need to make sure you've got an images folder. And in that images folder, it needs to contain any images you'd like to use in this web page. Okay, so in today's web page, we've got this single picture of Ed. Okay, and you copy that from Curriculum Drive. You'll also need this blank file here. If I open that up, it just has all the information we need to create our web page. Okay, so all this information here actually looks like this at the moment. It's our job to make it look good. Alright, so make sure you got that blank page there. When you do have that there, I need you to open that with brackets, because brackets is the program we're using to create our web pages. Alrighty, so this is what it's going to look like when you open it up in brackets. Now before we start editing this, what we're going to do is just go to File and Save As. And make sure you're in your documents and you find your Year 10 folder, find the Ed Sheeran folder, and right here we're going to save it. We're not going to call it blank, we're going to give it a more meaningful name, so ed.html. There's two things you need to remember here. Always give your web pages meaningful names. Don't just call it Untitled 1 or something like that. You need to give them something meaningful. Okay, so I've called it Ed. And you also need to make sure that you've got .html on the end of your file name. That way the computer picks up that you're making a web page, so when you open it up, it will actually open up with the web browser rather than brackets. Alright, so once you've called it ed.html, click Save, and we're ready to go with making our web page. As I said before, I've got all the information here that you need. Okay, you don't have to type any of it out yourself, but you do have to type out the HTML and the CSS code. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so head up to line 1 and push down this writing a little bit by pressing enter a few times. And what I want you to do to start with is just tell the computer that you're making a HTML file. So we need to write in pointy brackets with an exclamation mark at the start, doctype HTML. Now you don't have to write that in capitals, but it's just common practice that all web designers do doctype in capitals and then HTML in lowercase. Alright, the rest of the tags we'll use today will be in lowercase. Okay, so that's the very first line that you will always put into your web pages, just to tell the computer you're making a web page. The second tag that you'll need to put in is the HTML tags. Okay, and you'll see that when you put the first HTML tag in, by default, brackets will put in a closing HTML tag for you. Remember that little / there? Just represents that that's the closing tag. Alright, and that's fine. We do want the closing tag, so what I want you to do is just click between those two tags and press enter a few times, so you've got a bit of space between those two HTML tags. Okay. After your HTML tag up here, the opening one, I want you to press enter and come down onto the next line. You'll see that brackets indents your mouse cursor for you, which is a good thing. Okay. To make your code easier to read, we're going to use indentation, and I'll talk more about that as the term goes on. So the next tag we're going to put in is the head tag. We're going to do a head section. Remember, each web page that you create has a head section at the top and a body section below that. Okay, inside of the head section, we're going to add in a title. So put in a title tag. And in between those title tags, I just want you to write Ed Sheeran. That's going to be the name of our web page. Now, I want you to save that. Remember, Control S is the shortcut to save. I want you to get used to pressing Control S all the time, so you stay on top of your work and don't lose anything. And what I want you to do is open this web page up. Okay, so go into your account and open the web page up. We're going to have a preview of how this web page is looking so far. Okay, so this is what we've got. It's a pretty ugly web page, but what we have done is given the page a title at the top here. Okay, so in that tab at the top you can see Ed Sheeran written. That is our title. Okay, so that's all we've done by adding that title in. That'll do us for the head section for now. So what I want you to do is just press enter a couple of times below the closing head tag, and we're going to start the body section now, which is the main part of our web page. Okay, when you write the body tag in, just push the closing body tag down a few lines. and we're going to start adding some stuff inside our body section. The first thing I want to add in is a nice big title that says Ed Sheeran, okay, and you can see that down here. So what I might do now, since we are up to the body section, is come down and get all this information and cut it out. I'm going to press Control X to cut it out, and back inside the body section, Control V to paste it in. Okay, now it doesn't quite indent properly, so you're going to have to highlight all this writing here and just press Tab a couple of times till it indents across and it's inside those body tags. Alright, so this is looking good now. If we save that and preview it, still doesn't look very good in the web page though. Okay, so let's start making it look good. Ed Sheeran here is the title for our page, so let's make it nice and big and bold, and we're going to do that by using H1 tags around Ed Sheeran. Okay, those H1 tags just stand for heading 1. When you preview it now, you've got this nice big heading at the top. Okay, we'll style that up a little bit more later on using our CSS. Coming down below that, we've got this paragraph of text. Okay, so you might as well put that into a paragraph. The way we do that is we put the letter P inside pointy brackets. Okay, remember, have your opening tag at the start and your closing tag at the end. Okay, so that's just one big paragraph of text, and we're not going to format that up in any special way right now, so we'll just leave it as is. So you can save that and have a look. It doesn't really do much, but put that into a paragraph. Below that paragraph, we're going to put an image in. Okay, so you need to make sure you've got your images folder in your account and that picture of Ed Sheeran inside of it. Okay, if you don't have that in your account, this picture isn't going to work properly. So this is how we put a picture in. We just go into pointy brackets and write IMG space SRC. That stands for image source. Then we write equals, and now we can just click on these little hints that brackets gives us. We want to look inside of our images folder, and there's the picture we want, ed.jpg. So we just click on that. The last thing we need to do is just put a space and write in the alt attribute. Now alt stands for alternate text. As I said in previous lessons, that sometimes web browsers don't load pictures properly, or maybe even people have turned their settings off so pictures don't load on their web page. So what this alt tag does is puts in some text in place of that picture, so people still know what that picture would have been. So we can just write image of Ed Sheeran. Okay, so if the picture doesn't load properly, you will get that little alternate piece of text. Alright, so you can close your pointy bracket at the end of that. Make sure your quotation marks are all closed as well. Press Ctrl S to save it and go and have a look over in your web page. Okay, remember, you might need to refresh your page to see the changes take place. We've got a nice big picture of Ed Sheeran in there now. It is a little bit big, but we're going to use CSS, so our styling, to change the size of it shortly. We'll leave it as is for now. Coming in below that picture, we've got some lists with his top singles and albums. Okay, so where we've got top 5 singles, that could be a little subheading there. So what I might do is make it a H3 heading. So not quite as big as our H1 heading at the top there. It's still going to be bold and just a little bit bigger. Okay, so if we save that and have a look, scroll down, you can see down here, top 5 singles is now a H3 header. Okay, I want you to do the same H3 header for the top 3 albums down here. So just copy and paste those tags by pressing Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste. Okay, and if you have another look now, you'll have 2 headings, top 5 singles, top 3 albums. Okay, it's looking good. Next thing we've got here, going back to the top 5 singles, we've got a list of his top 5 songs. Okay, so we're going to create what we call an ordered list, and that's basically numbered bullet points. It's a list of items in a specific order. Okay, the way we do that is we need to open up a bracket called OL, which stands for ordered list. Okay, the opening tag goes at the top of the list, the closing tag goes at the bottom of the list. Next thing we're going to do is highlight the list here and just tab it across so it's inside of our ordered list. And for each bullet point, we need to put an LI tag in front of it. That's a list item. Okay, so if you want a bullet point to appear, you need the LI tags in front of each of these songs. So just copy and paste them in. Each time you put an LI tag in, it will make it into a bullet point. Okay, so what we've got here now is we've got an ordered list, which means numbered bullet points, and each time we put in an LI tag, we get one of those numbers next to the songs. If we save that now and have a look, you can see we've got our numbered bullet points. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. All right, looking down a little bit further, we've got the top 3 albums. Okay, and this time we're not going to use an ordered list. We're going to do another type of list called an unordered list. Okay, so the way we do that is underneath the H3 heading, we're going to open up UL tags, which stands for unordered list. The opening tag goes at the start of the list, and the closing tag just goes at the bottom there like that. Now I want you to highlight plus, time, or multiply and divide. They're the name of his 3 albums, and just tab them across. And we're going to put these into bullet points by creating list items again, so the LI tags. The LI goes at the start, and the closing LI goes at the end. So just copy and paste that through, like so. You've now got an unordered list, or basically a list of bullet points. They're in no specific order. If we save that and check it out, there it is down here. Looks pretty good. Now what we can do is actually make these little symbols look a bit more like what they're supposed to look like. Okay, so the multiplication and the divide symbol, okay, can actually be changed using special code or special tags in HTML. The plus sign is fine, it works pretty well, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. But for the multiply sign, what I'm going to do is do the ampersand sign. So that's shift 7 you need to push to get that. And I want you to write the word times and then a semicolon at the end. It comes out orange. And what that does is does the times symbol or the multiplication symbol. And for the divide symbol, it's very similar. We do the ampersand sign and we write divide and put a semicolon at the end. And if I save that now, come and have a look at what that's done. It puts in the times symbol and the proper divide symbol. Okay, so that looks a lot better. Okay, so that is our unordered list done with our little bullet points next to it. You might have noticed we've got bullet points down here for the unordered list and numbers up here for the ordered list. Alright, so make sure you know the difference between both of those types of lists. Alright, we're nearly done with our HTML now. Coming down a little bit further there, we've got this thing that says click here to go to the official Ed Sheeran website. Okay, so let's stick that in its own paragraph. I might just bring it up one more line. So put some P tags around it. That will just put it on a paragraph of its own. And we want to get the words click here into a hyperlink. Okay, so the way we do that is we click just after the new paragraph and before the word click, put in pointy brackets ahref equals, and then in quotation marks we write the website. That's http://. Remember to always put that at the start of your website. Then you put in www.edsheeran.com. We close up those quotation marks and you can close your pointy brackets. Now you need to get this closing A tag here and cut it out and put it after the word click here. Okay, that way the words click here will become our hyperlink. Now one more thing we can do to this hyperlink is make sure that it pops up in a new tab when we click it. Okay, so we need to get back inside this section here that says ahref equals and has the website. Just after those quotation marks, after we've written the website, just put a space and write the word target equals underscore blank inside of quotation marks. And that target equals underscore blank will open up your website, or this Ed Sheeran website, in a new tab. So if we save that up, go and have a look on our example here. You see down the bottom there we've got a little hyperlink. I'm not connected to the internet at the moment, so it's not going to actually work when I click on that, but if you test it on yours, that should take you off to the Ed Sheeran website. Alrighty, that's looking good. I might just get rid of all this extra space I've got between the body tag here and the closing HTML tag down there. Alright, because we are finished our HTML for now. Okay, so I'll just save that again. As you can see, we've got all the information there, but it looks quite ugly. Okay, the HTML part of your web page doesn't look the best, but what we're going to do now is apply some CSS styling. Okay, and that's going to make our web page look good. So I'll do that in the second video. I'll come back in just a moment and I'll show you how we can add some CSS styling to our web page.